Good afternoon. I'm Janella Precious with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. Prime Minister Andre Horton continues to dismiss suggestions that residents living in the vicinity of the planned Heroes Circle development will be removed. The matter was raised by residents at a town hall meeting in the area last night. Will they stay or won't they? A question which has been on the minds of the people living in communities close to the new site for the nation's parliament. And so they didn't hold back in their quest for answers when they came face to face with the Prime Minister at a town hall meeting Thursday night.
Everywhere else in the world, there is a parliamentary circle. I may add, everywhere else in the world, within 100 feet of the parliamentary circle, no residents are allowed to live there. What I want to know, therefore there will be relocation when it comes to this project. Have you selected any sites for relocation and where?
In his response, Chairman of the Urban Development Corporation, Ransford Braham, was adamant that there will not be any mass relocation.
The relocation that will be necessary will be done within the general community, what the Prime Minister called that 300 acres. Those are not yet finally designated, but you will be pretty close by to where you are at this time.
Prime Minister Andre Horton further clarified that the development instead provides new residential solutions.
The idea of relocation is not to take people out of the community. Buildings don't make a community. People make a community. The energy comes from the people who are here and who will come to live here. They form the community. It's not the intention to sanitize and uproot and destroy an area. The intention is to build here and provide the opportunity for the community to grow organically. That is what we are trying to do.
A proposal by the government for an intergenerational or 60-year mortgage program through the National Housing Trust, NHT, has been met with skepticism from an economist. Dr. Andre Horton is not in favor of debt being passed on to future generations. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Andre Horton said the proposed program would allow older persons to access a mortgage and have it carried on by a relative. Dr. Horton has reservations.
Is the point of view of putting young people in unassumed debt. Now, what this means is that if you're an older person and you team up with a younger person to get a mortgage, now that younger person could have got the house without entering the mortgage if you have the mortgage before, and so on and so forth. I'm just against putting young people in a sort of long-term debt situation. And then the house is going to belong, half is for you and half is for your mother. And then when your mother dead, your cousin come and say the half what was for your mother now belongs, and a lot of confusion.
The Prime Minister has stated that with policy changes to come, the government is of the view that there should be no discrimination by virtue of age in the pursuit of home ownership. The St. Andrews South Police is adamant that it will not be giving up on the fight in the Waterhouse community following the recent spate of violent acts being meted out against its residents. We have more in this report.
We will not stop until we bring those criminal elements to justice.
That assurance from commanding officer for the St. Andrews South Police, Superintendent Gary Francis. He was speaking following a stakeholders meeting in Waterhouse on Thursday. The Waterhouse community has been plagued by an increase in violence for the past 6 months, with some residents expressing fear for their lives. It's why they have been calling for serious interventions from the relevant stakeholders within their community. Since April, there have been a series of house fires and shootings which have claimed the lives of a number of individuals.
There have been a number of attacks and counterattacks by different factions within this space. The Gully faction, the West Bank, the East Bank, and so on. And consequently, there have been a number of persons, some 9 persons have lost their lives since this new rise up of the faction, and other persons have been shot and killed. It could have been many more had we not been as vigilant as we are in this space.
Hence, Superintendent Francis has issued this call for persons to get in touch with his team to help in their investigations.
And the first on my list is Christopher McLean, OC Frazzle. Odin Powell, OC Bounty. We have Venus. We have Andre. There's Rowan, Hamily, Chrismatic, Zaki. And there is Blue. We believe that these are persons, Addy and Winji. These are persons that we believe can help us treat what is happening here now.
However, despite the rise, Superintendent Francis is reporting some level of success with their crime-fighting efforts.
We have managed to seize some 64 illegal firearms since the start of the year. The most recent was today. We have seized a .45 pistol, right, in the space, in the same community here. And actually, we have arrested a number of wanted men. But we want to ensure that we continue to work to set the condition in order to facilitate further economic growth and development.
Shade Masters, TVJ News.
Mayor of Maypen, Winston Mirage, has come under pressure from residents of Sun Valley Drive after introducing a lot numbering fee. The residents argued that the numbers are already assigned to each lot in their community, and so they're asking why should they pay a numbering fee. However, in responding, Mr. Mirage said the focus will be on communities that are without lot numbers.
What we'll be doing, we'll be looking at the other communities, right? It's called civic numbering. So we'll be looking at the other communities that have no numbering on their properties, and that's where we'll be going. But keep in mind that our books, record, and the laws of the corporation require us that every property must pay for the civic numbers. The Municipal Act says that each homeowner or property owner is to pay us a fee to use that number.
Mr. Mirage affirmed that every property must have a number, whether occupied or not. He says with that, it will reduce the challenges which faces postal agencies in delivering mails.
My cousin in New York sending a package for me, and they send it through DHL or one of them courier service. And the man comes into Mitchelltown and him asking everybody, where Winston Mirage live? Where Winston Mirage live? And then by the time him done ask, and then point and show him, everybody knows him get a package.
We go to a follow-up now of a story we carried earlier this week. Residents of Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth are now breathing a sigh of relief after a homeless man who's been deemed destructive was removed from the streets. He was removed by the Poor Relief Department to the Black River Hospital. The homeless man is said to have taken over the Clinic Road in Santa Cruz, which is the location of the Santa Cruz Health Center. Mayor of Black River, Derek Sangster, said they were aware of the situation.
What we decided was to have the Poor Relief Department from the municipal corporation get into the action, and with a view to moving him and placing him at the infirmary, whether as a temporary measure or as a permanent measure. As we speak now, the medical team have moved him from the location.
Calls are again being echoed for the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, to fix non-functioning street lights in Magotty and surrounding areas in St. Elizabeth. According to reports received by our newsroom, some of these lights have been out of use for the last 2 years. Councillor for the Ipswich Division, Mugabe Kilimanjaro, says several reports have been made to JPS about the issue, but to no avail. He argues that due to the non-functioning lights, there's been an increase in criminal activities, And with Magotty being close to the St. James border, he says it's important that the street lights are fixed before the festive season.
There are a number of robberies that took place in the Magotty community. In fact, there is one suspected murder that took place. A supermarket was robbed recently, as well as a bakery was robbed. And you have other small crimes taking place as a result of the darkness in the air. But even more than that, it's the general insecurity that people feel to move about after, let us say, 6, 7 o'clock.
Public Relations Officer at the power company, Audrey Williams, confirmed to our news team that reports have been made to the entity, but what are the plans to fix it?
So as it pertains to new LED streetlight installations, we have installed a little over 366 since the start of the year for Western Jamaica, and this is a specific request now, and we have another 325 to go for the rest of the year in the West. In terms of Magotty, we are going to be addressing those streetlight repairs as part of our ramped-up streetlight repair program. So as of next week, we'll be commencing repairs in that community.
The primary school's lesson plans have been reviewed. This was disclosed at a PEP sensitization forum at the Bishop Gibson High School recently, where teachers expressed concerns about the lesson. TVJ's Dwayne Anderson has the details.
Primary school teachers have expressed concerns about the workload they face, particularly due to the number of lesson plans they have to create. The teachers say that they have to develop lesson plans for at least 12 different subjects. The teachers are therefore asking the Education Ministry to create the lesson plans.
One of the challenges that I personally face is the amount of time that I have to spend to at the curriculum guide and all the other materials that were given to source information to create a lesson plan. The material is actually there already for the ministry to have created lesson plans for teachers to actually use.
Speaking at a PEP sensitization forum, Chief Education Officer in the Ministry of Education, Grace McLean, said the time-consuming exercise has been reviewed. She adds that teachers will now be required to prepare lesson plans for the 4 core subjects.
We have a grade 6 curriculum, and I believe there is a sample plan. There is a guide in terms of a lesson plan that is somewhere in the curriculum. This curriculum has language arts, science, social studies, and mathematics. These are the 4 core areas that you are preparing our children in at the primary level. What is expected, colleagues, for all the other areas is that they are integrated into the 4 lesson plans.
Grace McLean said the bulletin for the new lesson plan is already drafted and it will be sent to schools across the island.
The bulletin will speak clearly the areas that you should be preparing lesson plans for. The bulletin will also speak to the lesson plan template.
She adds there's a series of sample lesson plans for mathematics on the PEP website. Grace McLean said the Education Ministry is also planning to create more samples to upload. Dwayne Anderson, TVJ News.
Time now for our Fact or Fiction feature. Fact or Fiction? The Commonwealth was founded in 1970. You can find out the answer at the end of the sports segment of the newscast. To news now in sports. Like Chris Gayle did with the Jamaica Scorpions, Dwayne Bravo is set to close a chapter in his cricketing career when the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force play the combined campuses and colleges Marooners in the semi-final of the regional Super 50 tournament today. Ronaldo Brown reports.
It has been one of the most eventful periods in West Indies cricket over the past 24 hours. It started with the one-day international team playing out its 10th tied 50 over game, and ended this morning with the appointment of Mushtaq Ahmed as assistant coach. Between those events comes the retirement of former captain Dwayne Bravo from all formats of the game. But with the all-rounder currently with the Trinidad squad in the Super 50 tournament, and once again eligible for selection to the West Indies squad, Why now?
Some couple of weeks ago, there was a team that was selected for India. He was not selected for the 50-over competition down at series in India. He was not selected for the T20 series also. And I think that, in its sense, would have impacted in his decision-making to retire from all forms of cricket. And
noted cricket writer and commentator from Trinidad and Tobago, Vinod Mamcham, feels while more sudden retirements might not come, heartbreak could be around the corner for a few of the senior players.
Let's look at Tyrone Pollard. He has done absolutely nothing. How could you then deny another man, another young man, a position who on the team who would have done really well in this Super 50, who would have gone to Zimbabwe as well to play cricket for the West Indies when they wanted to qualify for this World Cup, and then comes around and performs well here in the Super 50 and also currently in India? How do you then deny him a spot?
With 131 days to go until the West Indies open their World Cup campaign against Pakistan, is this an opportunity to expose a new generation of Caribbean cricketers?
it is just trying to find the right balance going into the 50-over World Cup. However, I would have really liked to see more of those experienced players still on a tour of India. But look at it, over 300 runs twice in consecutive matches. I think that has been a creditable performance. I think they have passed that test for me when you're looking forward as it relates to development. It shows that there are young talents coming up. Shimmerin Hetmai is showing that. So I think it's not a negative approach to give the youth their exposure to international cricket.
I don't think the selectors will be looking to really be over with some of the senior players, so to speak. I think that there's a chance, there's a possibility that the West Indies could win this World Cup should we go there with a very strong team. And I think that, the senior players must be considered for that tournament, given the fact also that it's been played in England and the experience of English conditions will also be very significant.
Following their tour of India, the West Indies will travel to Bangladesh for a full tour before playing England at home early 2019. Renata Brown for TVJ Sports.
Afternoon, the answer to our fact or fiction feature, we asked, fact or fiction, the Commonwealth was founded in 1970. Well, it's fiction. The Commonwealth was founded on December 11, 1931. It is a voluntary association of 53 independent countries spread over every continent and ocean. The Commonwealth promotes peace and international cooperation, democracy and good governance, respect for human rights and the rule of law, as well as the improvement of lives through economic and social development. And that's the Midday News. I'm Janella Precious. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.